a blood-soaked video emerges. Celeste is found dead in the trunk of his Tesla. Celeste's body was found in a black tube top and ripped jeans. Her body was in advanced state of decomposure.
It's obviously a homicide.
She had been living with this grown man, David Anthony Burke, aka David, for a long time. The claim is that Burke was obsessed with teen girl Celeste. Some sources date her relationship back to her age 11. Why run out and flee your home in the middle of the night? A video has emerged potentially placing this little girl, just 13 years old, when she goes missing, at a David D4VD concert. Now, I'd like to draw the attention of our veteran trial lawyer, Troy Slayton, to a video I'm about to play. Slayton, out of this jurisdiction, LA criminal defense attorney at Slayton Lawyers. Let's roll the video, please. Take a look, Troy Slayton. Oh, who's that? Oh, it's the artist known as David. What's he doing? Oh, he's putting a dead, bloody body into a car trunk. Let's just let that soak in for a moment. Okay. Troy Slayton joining me. Guys, this is from David YouTube. That's not helping any potential defense.
So we're going to prosecute people now because of their art? We're going to prosecute people because of music videos that were heavily produced and edited and created by a team of creative experts? I don't think so, Nancy. He also had a casket on stage sometimes when he would perform. So just because he was obsessed with these morbid themes, that doesn't mean that he's a murderer.
I don't think that's really helping anything that you bring up. He had a casket.
Wouldn't this be the perfect thing for somebody who wanted to frame him?
I'm totally not hiring you anymore when I murder someone. If you're going to bring up that I've been obsessing on a casket, and then I commit a murder? No. No, Slayton. Freedom of art.
He's obsessed with this anime
let's see
culture.
The video again. It's not just that he may be obsessed with death. Here's an MO. You know what that is, right? Modus operandi, method of operation. Can I see the video? This is not a casket. This is him dragging a body, as you say, for art's sake, and putting it in a trunk. A dead body, a bloody dead body in a trunk. That's the method of operation here.
There's all sorts of other imagery that's going on here, and this is a person, an artist who's obsessed with Japanese anime, which glorifies certain death and alter egos. He talked about having an alter ego that was obsessed with death. And so I don't think that somebody's music video.
Well, you know what? That's really interesting that you would say that, because you remember the name Orenthal J. Simpson, right? O.J. Simpson. He talked about sports on TV, but he also had a premonition that he murdered his wife, Nicole, and he did. Joining me right now is a renowned medical examiner. And when I say that, I mean it. I go to Dr. Kendall Crowns repeatedly on and off air with questions. Why? Because he has performed over 10,000 autopsies. I'm talking accident, natural causes, suicide, homicide, and of course, undetermined deaths. He has autopsied infants, the elderly, bizarre deaths, and found the answer from inside his morgue. He is the host a hit podcast, Mayhem in the Morgue, and he is a chief medical examiner in Tarrant County, that's Fort Worth, and esteemed lecturer at the Burnett School of Medicine at TCU. Dr. Crowns, what does this mean to you, the fact that we have a narrow timeline, August 24 to September 3? Her body was in advanced state of decomposure. I don't even know if we're going to get a COD, cause of death.
Well, with individuals that have been placed in trunks or have been murdered and then not found for a period of time, especially in a warm environment, you can have a significant amount of decomposition occur where the body begins to bloat or fill up with gases. It turns a discoloration of a green discoloration and almost gets a black color at some points. The skin starts to slip off. And this can obscure injuries, but it won't completely obscure gunshot wounds and knife wounds. It can actually make strangulations hard to detect. But all in all, you can still
Dr.
find...
Kendall Crowns, can you see your monitor? As you're just tripping, is the word just tripping off your tongue. You see who we're talking about, that little girl. You're talking about her body turning green and then black and how... I don't know how you do that, how you just look at this gorgeous little girl, just 13 at the time she goes missing, and talk about her skin turning green. Okay, that's for you and your shrink to figure out. How are we going to get a COD on this little girl?
Well, by doing a complete autopsy, they'll be able to evaluate the body for injuries and any fractures or anything of that nature. You can look at the neck structures, looking at the hyoid bone, which is a bone in the neck, looking for fractures, things of that nature. You can look at the skeletal system, looking for fractures of the bone. You can still see the skin surface, even though they're decomposing, and you can see injuries that look like gunshot wounds or stabbings. The only problem is when the body is decomposing, if you get insect activity, insects can alter how injuries will look, and they can also create their own burrowing into the body that can look like injuries themselves. So you're going to want to look for blood.
Okay, stop right there, please.
Sites.
You are now talking about a very, very advanced technology, and it is forensic entomology, where the age of, for instance, a blowfly, a maggot, the age of the maggot can determine how long the body has been dead, because maggots or blowflies appear at a certain point in decomposition. So if they're 1 day old, 2 days old, 3 days old, if they have already laid their own eggs, that can give you a date of death. Did I enunciate that correctly?
Yes, the life cycle of a blowfly can be helpful in trying to help pinpoint the time frame in which this individual died. Although the life cycle can be altered by things like cocaine, which can speed up the life cycle. So you have to take into effect the environmental conditions around it when you're making those determinations on how long that individual's been dead.
Let me throw that to Dr. Kendall Crowns. So what would be the alternative? That she crawls into the trunk and has a heart attack? Of course she was murdered.
Yes, I mean, nobody's going to go into a trunk and then shut themselves in willingly. That it's obviously a homicide. We just have to figure out what. And I think there is some mention that I've seen that she was possibly dismembered, which is obviously not something that would occur naturally.
And another thing, Dr. Kendall Crowns, speaking of partial dismemberment of this little girl, I got to follow up with a shrink on that. But Dr. Kendall Crowns, you can tell so much from the tool markings on the body when someone has been dismembered. And since a body is dismembered with, of course, some sort of cutting utensil like a knife, does that lead you to believe her COD may have been stabbing, or statistically, it would be some sort of a strangulation or asphyxiation? Explain.
That's correct. More likely than not, it's a strangulation followed up by them cutting her up.
Is there any way that normal decomp, which of course is not normal to decompose in a car trunk, so right off the bat, that question is a non sequitur, it does not follow, but can normal decomposition in any way resemble partial dismemberment?
Well, if you get like animal scavenging involved, yes, the limbs can be pulled away from the body by animals, but usually in normal decomposition, which an individual is laying...
Animals have nothing to do with this. Can we stick to the facts, please, Dr. Crowns?
Certainly. So she's laying in a trunk where animals can't get to her. Your limbs are not going to look like they've been dismembered. If you get to the point of skeletonization, yes, your bones will fall apart, but you won't look like you've been dismembered.
There is a clear difference. When a body decomposes, naturally, as opposed to when the body has been dismembered. You see tool marks or you see bones out of place. There's nothing close to. They don't fit together. One will not be mistaken for the other. Is that fair to say?
Yes, that is fair to say.